How's it going, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Crypto Clout. I'm your host, FaZe Crypto, and today we have a very exciting video for you today about Cardano. A lot of interesting topics to get into. Of course, just starting off the video looking at the 1 month chart for Cardano, and I think that it's pretty interesting to start off with this article right here. Cardano ADA's Charles Hoskinson says he will eat his own shoe if Shelly does not happen this year. And so I guess the ticking clock has begun. Now, this isn't the first time when a cryptocurrency figure like Charles Hoskinson, or this is almost reminiscent of the John McAfee sort of, I'm going to do such and such if such and such doesn't happen in the cryptocurrency space. It's not uncommon to see this sort of stuff happen, but I honestly have a little bit more faith in Charles Hoskinson getting Shelly out than a little bit more of the more outlandish things that John McAfee seems to have to renew his, sayings and all these different things. You know what I mean? Anyway, Charles Hoskinson, the Chief Executive Officer, CEO of IOHK, the organization that takes care of projects such as Cardano 88 and Ethereum Classic, has always been a vocal proponent of the cryptocurrency space, and his regular Ask Me Anything sessions are an example of this fact. Yada yada. Get down to the good stuff. For incentives, this is about encouraging stakeholders to follow the protocol and assure that the system runs smoothly. For you all get it. I mean, it's basically decentralization at its finest. And this is a sort of a funny article, an interesting segue into some of the more serious topics that we'll be discussing in this video. But I think we'll pretty much be able to cover a lot of interesting things that, especially a lot of people out there have been sending me messages talking about, hey, FaZe, so we've got this project Cardano, and essentially this future of smart contracts, but how is this sort of entity going to fare up, especially in the current paradigm shift that's happening with cryptocurrency? And now, generally, my response to this, I'll take a bit of nuance and essentially point out the fact that, we've seen the cryptocurrency track record come to where it is right now. The $5,278 Bitcoin, respectively, at the time of making this video. The market cap being at 171, 816. The top performers of the day, we've got Ontology. Then I think that it's always interesting to look at the top performers. At any given time. Of course, Cardano coming in among them. And of course, the ones getting hit the hardest. We've got of course, Digibyte, Maximum Coin, and the among others. But I think that right now, it's important to talk about the significance of what we could see happening. I think that Cardano is well established as a possibility for being the Ethereum killer. Essentially, with what we're seeing happening with Cardano right now, it's notwithstanding. The fact that we need to see some more things happening, involving Cardano before the project really can actually get its day in the limelight. But I think that day is right around the corner, especially with a lot of these more interesting projects that are happening involving Cardano. And basically all the things that can be built on the foundation. And if you guys are like me, then you're probably reading the white paper and just going through as many of these different articles and stuff to try and protect your investment. Knowledge is the best power in that sense. And I think that one theme that I see through all of the various different content that is regarding Cardano, it certainly has to do with the current paradigm and how it's going to mesh with a lot of the current. The fact of the matter is that we have a current that's going. All these different things are rising up in the area of business and all these other aspects that cryptocurrency can really get to jive with. And I think that when we look at businesses and how they seek to essentially profit, and use cryptocurrency to its fullest advantage, I think Cardano is definitely one of those projects that's certainly working to fill out, check off as many of those boxes, as far as what we see as these important junctures that the cryptocurrency needs to go through, which is essentially building a foundation which is going to be more important later on down the line than a lot of these other cryptos, which are basically just rushing to get their product out there rather than essentially working on a lot of these other scientific aspects of things, which is of course something that I would say works into Cardano's favor. Now, although it might not be one of those more clickbaity sort of cryptos that are able to get that fan base going, I still think that it is an interesting project, and which is another reason why we've been making these regular updates on the project. So I mean, when it comes down to it, I mean, we do have some very important things that are happening right now, involving the public perception of cryptocurrency and a lot of these different hurdles that need to be jumped over if we're really going to be seeing things happening, so a lot of these different news articles that we have. I mean, this is a funny one. Bernie Sanders, he's a funny guy. If Bernie Sanders' economic policy would send population buying Bitcoin, maybe. And of course, we've got some interesting perspectives here. Of course. If you guys want to look into this, I mean, I think just showing the article, it says a lot of it by itself. I mean, when we want to talk about cryptocurrency and the greatest advertisement for it, I mean, we could just look no further than Bernie Sanders' economic policies, and I think it would be a pretty interesting advertisement for cryptocurrency. He doesn't even need to really run on the platform. He just needs to show how many people would mesh with these sort of ideas and pretty much give us that indication of how these cryptocurrencies and stuff could be playing a pretty interesting role. And of course, in other news, we've got Iran unveils its first Bitcoin ATM. This is a pretty cool milestone for them, definitely showing that cryptocurrency is like an octopus, sort of just spreading its tentacles across the world in a pretty interesting way, which just goes to show you more of what you'd like to hear, adoption across the world, that sort of global community aspect of cryptocurrency, which is really the spinal cord of what we can expect to see as far as this technology continues to develop. And we see a lot. And Bitcoin ATMs popping up around the world is definitely a part of it. I think these two perspectives are integral to the topic of the day, which of course is the future of Cardano and how smart contracts could be playing a vital role in the future of a lot of these different things. But right along, moving with the news, we've got Russia prepares to test cryptocurrencies in 4 of its regions. This is pretty interesting as well, because of course we know with Russia's been popping up left and right when we talk about the future of cryptocurrency and a lot of these different variables respectively, and I think that it is going to be interesting to see how these different variables tend to work themselves out. Of course, the Russia Federation, which is yet to regulate digital assets, is now planning to allow 4 of its regions to test innovations that are not covered by its current legislation. A bill drafted by the Economy Ministry, Evangelist, the establishment of regulatory sandboxes there. Zero, of course, the special economic zones will allow companies, entrepreneurs, and authorities to experiment with cryptocurrencies without breaking any rules. So definitely interesting to see the steps that our friend here has been working to essentially get cryptocurrency functioning, giving it that legs, which I think is definitely going to be playing a interesting role moving forward in that regard. Of course, we've got this article right here, how a blockchain startup with 1 million users is working to break your Google habit, which is also interesting because a running theme on this channel is definitely what can cryptocurrency essentially work its ways in, basically, how can Cardano essentially, go and be a competition for a lot of these different things. And of course, the antitrust argument that says big tech needs break up to stop platforms, competition, all these things, yada yada, is certainly in and of itself its own real sort of advertisement for cryptocurrency, if we're going to say the least. I mean, I think that that's a running theme, through a lot of the news that we're seeing today, which is essentially just how organic variables are really the best, push for how, things that are forward looking, like Cardano. I think that these things are going to be even more in demand than people realize in a short amount of time, which is also something pretty big that's up on the horizon. I think Shelly and all these things prove to be pretty promising, as far as, a lot of these variables are, expanding into, a lot of different aspects. So the future of Cardano, I think it does look pretty bright, as far as how these things are concerned. Back in 2017, it took only 47 days for Bitcoin to make the journey from 5,000 to 10,000. Will history repeat itself with another rapid rise? We're about to find out. This is an interesting little, thing to look at right there. But I mean, it does go to show you. I mean, in the fashion of cryptocurrency, we do see it, going straight to the moon without making any stops. And of course, ADA, unstoppable, ready to moon, different sort of perspective there, but interesting nonetheless. And I think you guys will understand what I mean in a minute. But of course, we've got our research white paper, right? Writers can earn 50K, but startups often mislead investors. I think that that's pretty interesting as well. Cryptocurrency is one of those professions that's on the rise. I mean, more and more people, who are college age, going to school and all these different things, find themselves pursuing jobs working with blockchain and all these things, just because they're such, growing industries and all these different aspects of it, which is a great thing to see happening. I mean, just showing how, these things are moving on, right before our eyes. But Cardano's Charles Hoskinson takes a subtle jab at CZ, says he couldn't afford. I mean, I'm sure you guys have already seen that article as well, so we won't waste time on it. But yeah, all that being said, I hope that you guys have enjoyed this video. I mean, we've done a pretty good job. I've been really excited to make this video about Cardano. But of course, remember, if you guys are interested, make sure that you connect with us on Twitter. That's at CryptoTuber, as always. Interested in hearing what you guys have to say. Of course, remember, this video is for entertainment, educational purposes only. Of course, remember, I'm not your dad. This video is not financial advice or anything like that. But all that being said, I hope that you guys have enjoyed this video. And yeah, overall, I mean, I am pretty excited to see what Cardano has in store for us, as things continue to move forward. This is one of the more exciting cryptocurrencies, with an optimistic look, I think, with the future. But all that being said, make sure that you guys subscribe, comment down below, and let us know what you think. And I will see you guys in the next live stream or video, and have a good one.